No bait, but straight.
There you go.
Now, record me running. Alright guys, so we just got finished shooting the Shane's loadout from The Walking Dead. Honestly, it was a lot of fun. If I had to take this to zombie apocalypse, I would be more than happy, alright? Very reliable guns. This has a lot of stopping power, so you're not gonna go wrong, right? With this one, and obviously the Glock 19, this one right now has a 17 round mag in it. Good old reliable, right? You can't go wrong with it. Very accurate, very easy to control, and super simple manual arms for both guns, right? So what I was thinking is how we could improve this setup. Honestly, there's not much to improve. I think I should get a better sling. I like the Magpul furniture on the 500s. I think that would be a huge upgrade. So we could do that instead. Another thing is, I mean, an autoloader like a Beretta 1301 or Hay 300 or the Mossberg 940. Those are also good options, but honestly, I would feel more comfortable with the Shane loadout. I have his hat right now from The Walking Dead and his Glock right here. If I were Shane also, I'd run something like a belt. He is a cop in the show. I don't recall him ever running a belt. I'm not sure. I forgot. But something like this would be perfect, especially since, you know, there's dangers everywhere. You need everything accessible. So like I said, this sling would go. I think this sling is pretty trash. I'll get something better. Maybe run a single point. And maybe instead of a 20.5 inch barrel, I believe I have, I would run an 18.5 instead. Shorter, less rounds, but I think more maneuverable. And with the single point, you know, it's not going to be almost touching the ground. It's going to be a little bit off that. So I think that's what I would do next. Maybe get a new barrel for this and maybe run a single point. But other than that, what can I say? Mossberg reliability. I'm running it with a shotgun card attached with Velcro, right? I could load this up and I have it right here for any 5.56, you know, type magazine or pouch. You could put these in there. So I have a plate carrier and I could, you know, stack them up like that in the 5.56 pouches. So I would highly recommend these shotgun cards. They're very cheap. I really like the iron sights on these. I would run these instead of the beat. And yeah, what more can I say? Shane did a good job. The guns he was running. Are these my to go? No, I guess I would run an AR preferably, but I also would not complain if I was dropped with the Shane loadout for The Walking Dead. So other than that, what else could I say? I give this 8 out of 10 loadout, and I approve this 100%, right? So why did I do this? You know, The Walking Dead's a very popular show. Shane is one of those controversial, yet most memorable character, if not the most memorable character in the show. I think he was way ahead of his time. And yeah, I wish we would have seen him further along, his character development in other seasons, but it was what it was. So this was definitely a fun project I did. This is, again, the Shane loadout, and you guys should try it out. It's a lot of fun.
All right, guys. So, you know, what we did see earlier, right, is kind of the shooting portion, but now we're just going to nerd out a bit, and I'm just going to speak about Shane as a character, not so much the guns and stuff. Just, we're going to talk some nerd talk, right? Some Walking Dead stuff. So let's jump into it. So we're going to speak about Shane, obviously, as a character. So Shane was definitely one of the most complex characters, and he was very divisive, probably the most divisive character in history, probably besides other than Negan. But I think Shane was definitely more divisive, because I feel like Negan's evolution was a bit forced, but you know, it was just, Shane was just so complex. I think no other character was as complex as him. But yeah, his evolution was basically, he was Rick Grimes' best friend from childhood, and they somehow became enemies in a way. And it's kind of sad how it happened, but I guess it was what it was. So, Shane he definitely had a lot of good traits, I guess you could say to him. He was a leader. He was the leader of the group initially, and then somehow Rick kind of took power. But initially, Shane was 100%, I would say, the leader. And, Shane was the one making the hard decisions when everyone was one foot in, one foot out. So he definitely has a crazy leadership knack, and he has great survival instincts, and he is willing to do whatever just to survive. Obviously, he has bad traits such as jealousy, right? He grew very jealous of Rick because of the whole Lori and Carl situation, as well as he is kind of impulsive. He made a lot of impulsive decisions, and it's also not very good to have someone so violent and impulsive, because he was kind of a loose screw. So it kept everyone on their toes, right? I guess that's the best way you could put it. And another downside is he cared way too deeply for Lori and Carl. I understand that he did save Lori and Carl. They probably would have been zombies or zombie meat, because obviously Rick was in the hospital. But he also, let's not forget, he also saved Rick, because without him going to the hospital and kind of locking the room when the soldiers were killing everyone, there would be no Rick as a protagonist for The Walking Dead, right? So kind of, let's speak about his turning points, right? So I guess his real big turning point, in my opinion, besides the whole Lori thing, his clear obsession with her, is when he shot Otis. So when he shot Otis, it was kind of one of those things like, yeah, he was doing whatever he needs to do to survive. But at the same point, you see Shane's morality just free fall from there on. And he started definitely having just, he was kind of crazy. He started becoming a little bit more crazy and unhinged. So, but at the same time, it was a necessary evil, because without the medicines, Carl would have died. And it was kind of Otis's fault that he shot Carl. At the same time, no. So, I don't know. But it was a necessary evil. And let's forget, if Carl would have died, could you imagine how heartbroken Rick and Lori would have been? And also, the whole barn situation when, Shane, decided to open up Herschel's barn and kill the walkers. I mean, that kind of, it was an impulsive thing, but at the end of the day, again, he was just doing a bunch of necessary evils. And guess what? He found Sophia, and he proved everyone wrong. Hey, this was a waste of time. The little girl's been dead for weeks, and this guy knows we're looking for a little girl, and he has her in a freaking barn as a zombie. It's kind of stupid, and Herschel was kind of stupid back then. I know he became, a lot of people's favorite, but let's be real, Herschel is kind of a dummy. And I think at the end of the day, Shane's legacy, he had a long lasting legacy. He was definitely one of those characters that, just had a, long lasting impact. Like, for example, what Shane was in season 1 and season 2, what many of us were like, yo, this guy's crazy. Ultimately, everyone became some way, some shape, some form, they kind of all became Shane. And that's kind of interesting, right? Because Officer Friendly, season 5 wasn't so officer friendly. And by officer friendly, I mean Rick. He was freaking ripping people's meat off their neck. That's pretty crazy. But, again, Shane did adapt that survival instincts and do whatever it takes to survive. And that's why the group survived for as long as they did. Because they kind of took Shane's traits, but at the same time, it's not even Shane's traits, it's just survival traits, I guess you could say. So yeah, we might see Shane as an evil person, but again, he was necessary, and he did kind of set the standard for what it takes to be a leader and do whatever it takes to survive.